Welcome to Down Home Dietitian. I'm Becky Parsons. We are a few weeks into the new year, and who else is sick of seeing weight loss ads on their news feeds? Today we're going to talk about how to weed through the diet culture muck and find some healthy habits that aren't just for the new year, but might actually make it to next year. Don't just get married. Date first. This time of year in particular, people will go out and find an eating plan and just get married to it. They don't test it out, they don't try it out. That eating plan was not designed for them or with their life in mind, and they tell everybody that they're getting married to this plan, and they haven't even tried it. So as soon as they get started in their life, if it's hard, if there's friction, if it's not working, now they feel like a failure because they committed, they told everybody, and this is what they were going to do, and it's not working out. Keep your mindset that you are dating any healthy change. You are just checking it out and trying to see if it's a good fit for you. There are so many ways to live a healthy life. You just have to find the changes that work in your life. So give them a try, date them for a little bit. If it doesn't work out, it's not because you failed, it's because it wasn't the right fit for you. Keep looking. Along those lines, if you first don't succeed, try again. Decide on a healthy change you'd like to make, and then come at it from all angles, trying to figure out what is the best way to fit it into your life. So, for example, if you decide you wanted to hydrate better, you could try carrying a water bottle with you everywhere. You could try different types of flavor, infused water. You could try one of those labeled water bottles with hours and times, by 10 a.m. you should drink this much. Try them all. Find the thing that works. Find an app, find something else. If things don't work, don't give up on that habit. Just keep looking until you find the way of achieving it that fits well in your life. Hydrating was always my struggle until I found this ridiculous app. It's called Plant Nanny. It's this silly little animated plant, and when you drink water, you water your plant. And over time it grows, and if you don't drink enough, it starts to wilt and look sad. Let me tell you, I tried for years to hydrate myself before that, and I never could seem to manage it. But for some reason, this little animated plant resonated with me, and I would literally sit up in bed at 10 o'clock at night and go, oh my gosh, my plant, and go drink an extra glass of water to make sure that my plant wouldn't be wilty and sad the next day. And yes, I totally get the irony that taking care of my real, actual human body didn't seem to do the trick, but taking care of my fake animated plant did. Blame it on the fact that I'm from the Tamagotchi generation, I guess. But hey, it worked, and now I hydrate much better. It makes me so sad that I even have to say this next one, but I see it all the time. Everyone seems to be really convinced that you have to be suffering if you're living a healthy life, that healthy food is disgusting or bland, that everything that tastes good is off limits, that you have to be doing some kind of miserable exercise program you hate, and that is just so not true. So much of the information that's out there about how restricted you have to be, how hard you have to exercise, or the ways that you have to exercise, the foods that you have to eat, the things you have to eliminate, is just plain wrong and way more restrictive than is necessary. So I can promise you, you do not have to be miserable to be healthy. So if whatever you're trying feels like fighting, clawing, and scratching, you're barking up the wrong tree. Work with your personality when you decide what kind of changes you're going to make and how you're going to make them. For example, if you love all kinds of food and it makes you happy to enjoy a variety of things, don't choose a restrictive plan that leaves out all kinds of food groups or restricts you from eating different things. Choose something that includes all of them in moderation. If you're somebody who hates numbers, Don't plan on tracking and counting. You're going to be miserable. Think about your personality and find ways to work with it instead of forcing yourself into some kind of plan that is going to work against you. If you're hungry, the healthiest answer is always to eat. So often I see people trying to just ignore their hunger, drink some water, forget it, distract themselves, and do everything they can to avoid eating when they're hungry. That is so opposite of what you want to do. Hunger is your body asking for energy right in the moment. That means it's already used up all the energy that you gave it from last time, and it needs energy to use right now for the things that you're asking it to do. If you feed it a reasonable amount of food right now when it's asking for it, it's not going to send it straight to storage. It's going to use it. You can think of the food you eat kind of as like your body's paycheck. You give it a certain amount of energy, and it has all these energy bills to pay. It's got to beat your heart and move your muscles and work your brain and heal your skin and all the things that your body does. But if you cut its paycheck, or when it asks you for a paycheck and you don't give it to it, it's going to actually try to slow your metabolism down a little bit. It's not going to have all the energy it needs to do the things it wants to do. You don't want to do that. Feed your hunger. That tells your body, hey, we've got all the energy available to us that we need. There's no need for you to protect or store fat. Please, 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 for the love of all that is healthy, do not gauge your success or failure solely based on the number on the scale. Progress comes in so many forms, and most of them aren't on the scale. A balanced eating plan will improve your health in so many ways. Ask yourself about non-scale changes. Are you eating more vegetables? Do you have more energy? Do you stress about food less? Do your clothes fit better? Do you feel more confident? Are you feeling stronger? Are your workouts getting easier? All of these things can gauge success in a healthy eating plan. And weight is a fickle mistress. There are so many things that go into your weight besides how much you eat and how much you move, though that's not what everybody wants to tell you. So your weight is influenced by stress, by hormones, by medications, by all kinds of things, many of which you have absolutely no control over. Weight loss is by no means a linear process, and you have to just rest in knowing that weight is going to come and go and fluctuate, and you have to look at other aspects of your health as indicators of progress. I can't tell you how many times I've seen a client who comes back and says, oh, I was feeling great. Somebody noticed that I looked healthier. I've had all this energy. Things were going fabulously. And then I stepped on the scale and saw that I hadn't lost any weight. And now I just feel like a total failure. What is that about? What about all these other things? Don't let the scale have a louder voice than all these other indicators of your health. It is one in a chorus of important voices. Choose a plan that keeps all the nourishing goodness you possibly can. You're looking always for the least restrictive way to meet your health goals. In that sense, every single macronutrient, carbohydrates, proteins, and fat, as well as all the food groups, have their own sets of pros and cons, so we want to try to find a plan that doesn't eliminate any of these things unless you have an actual allergy or intolerance. There's absolutely no nutritional need to eliminate any food group or go low or high in any macronutrient. They all have pros and cons, and we want to get the maximum benefit from all of them without dealing with any of the negative effects, if any of them. So the more we can moderate and include a wide variety of foods, the better. This is a big one. So many people tell me, oh, exercise, I hate it, I don't like it, I'm never gonna enjoy it. When in reality, that may or may not be true. They may have never found any kind of exercise that they like, but it changes your mindset entirely when you're exercising just because someone told you you should, versus exercising to achieve some kind of lifestyle or goal that you actually want. So think about your life. Envision the kind of life you want. Does it involve hiking? Does it involve horseback riding? Does it involve playing with your grandkids when you're older? The exercise that you're doing now is training for that life. You can tailor your exercise plans to train you for whatever kind of lifestyle you're hoping to live. Find exercises and activities that mimic the activities you hope to incorporate in your life, and that will help you stay motivated because you are constantly training for a life that you want to live. Prioritize your favorite foods and make changes somewhere else. This is where you develop a sustainable, healthy life that includes the things that you love to eat. For example, anybody who knows me knows that I love plastic cheese. That is my affectionate name for the liquid pump queso that comes out at a high school football game on top of stale Costco chips, and it makes my food world go round. And sometimes people will say, how can you as a dietitian justify eating something like that? Because I love it. Am I fully aware that plastic cheese nachos are high in sodium and saturated fat and things that aren't nourishing to me at all? Yeah, but it makes me really super happy. There's no way I'm gonna cut them out. Instead, I'm gonna make changes somewhere else. I'm gonna cut saturated fat in my milk because I don't mind 1% milk or fat-free. I'm gonna cut sodium somewhere else where it doesn't matter so much and leave these just sort of icing on the cake type things that make me really super happy, and make changes in other places that I don't care about so much. That is gonna help you enjoy your food while you make healthy changes. Don't stress yourself out to take out your favorite things. It's just not a battle worth fighting. This is a really interesting perspective, and it's a great way to tell if an eating plan or diet is a plan that is probably balanced and good for you. Of course, we want what's best for our kids or our imaginary kids if you don't have any, but put yourself in the mindset of a parent and imagine if your child was eating this way, would that make you feel like they were making healthy choices, or would that make you concerned about their eating behavior? I was talking with a friend once who said her kid had started leaving off the buns and bread off her sandwiches because she had started a low-carb diet and was trying to lose weight, and she was concerned that she was passing along some habits that were not healthy for her child. And so she was trying to figure out how could she make some changes so that she could still eat this way without influencing her daughter. And I wanted to say, well, why would you want to eat that way? If you recognize that it's not a balanced way of eating, if you recognize that it's not a healthy habit for your daughter, then apply that same sort of love to yourself and just know that that sort of eating plan is not going to be good for you. If you wouldn't want your kid eating that way, then it's probably not healthy for you either. Give yourself a bit of grace. These are habits that you have built as the path of least resistance over many, many, many years. They are not going to change overnight, and we don't want them to. Most habit changes don't last if we turn everything upside down on its head overnight. Give yourself a little time to get used to changes, date them like we talked about earlier, and keep in mind that healthy comes in phases. Healthy is a spectrum, not a wagon. So if you're, making some good choices and you're moving closer towards the healthy side of the spectrum, and then, something happens and heaven forbid you eat a donut or some plastic cheese nachos and you bump yourself a little bit farther back, there is absolutely no reason to throw up your hands and say, well, forget it. I guess I screwed up healthy. I'm not healthy anymore. What? You are maybe a little farther this way, so just take a few steps back or hang out there for a bit. There's absolutely no reason to see health as a wagon that we fall on and off. Our bodies don't see it that way. You shouldn't either. So you can do this year. Go find changes that fit nicely into your life, that don't feel like restriction, that incorporate all the foods you love, that fit with your personality, that fit with your lifestyle, and don't feel like fighting, clawing, and scratching. And don't forget, healthy doesn't have to be hard.